Welcome to Perusing's Appraisers on Purpose podcast. Our podcast showcases inspiring appraisers and professionals from the industry who are leaders in their field. How did they get to where they are? What have they learned along the way? What can we learn from them? Your host is real estate investor, entrepreneur, and appraiser, Michael Hobbs.
Oh my goodness. What another great opportunity to just be with a peer. Informative and engaging and quite an informational walk down memory lane as well as look out into the future. I'm your host, Michael Hobbs. This is Perusing's Appraisers on Purpose podcast. And Ron, happy to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Michael, great to be with you. Thank you.
Oh man, Ron, what an interesting career you've had. Were you born into this, or we want to know, how did you get into the appraisal and valuation profession?
As a typical story, I stumbled into it.
Oh my goodness. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I got my real estate license when I was 18. My dad was a broker.
You got your real estate license when you were 18?
Yeah, I got it when I was 18, a day after my birthday in the state of Ohio.
And so you were, sounds like, if I heard you say dad, so that means you were already in the industry. When did you really start? Were you 9? Were you 10? When did dad get you in?
That didn't start till midlife. So I got in when I was about 16 and
wow,
helped him out. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. That's amazing. So you get in as a real estate broker, you're helping him at 16, you get your own license at 18, and then you retire by 21?
I retired from sales when I was 19, and real estate appraisal fascinated me with the sales part of it because I was dealing with appraisers. I was getting frustrated with appraisers.
You got frustrated with appraisers? That doesn't happen, Ron.
I know, right?
I don't know what world you're talking about where people get frustrated with appraisers.
Oh, they just were horrible in communication. They were stubborn.
You're saying this is 2024. This was last year, right? That's what you're talking about.
Not much has changed. Yeah.
Okay. So you're frustrated. You're having this experience working with them, and then you retire at 19 years old and decide to come out of retirement.
Yeah, and become an appraiser, staff appraiser for savings and loan.
Wow.
Yeah, and worked my way through college as I did that. And then at age 20, I became, at that time, the youngest SRA awarded by the Society of Real Estate Appraisers, which now obviously is the Appraisal Institute.
Has anyone broken that record in the last decades?
I don't know.
I can't imagine that they have.
Yeah.
Imagine maybe like in the world of possibility, it's possible, it's just not probable. Because most, I don't know, like all it seems, don't go to college to actually get a real estate degree unless you go to one of the big programs like Wisconsin,
Yep.
You're down at Texas A&M, you go out east,
Yep.
out in the south, out in the west. There's a handful of programs. I could totally see that could be the case.
Exactly.
But, wow, you got your SRA at 20. And did you retire again?
No.
Okay.
Although when the interest rates started hitting double digits and lending shut down, I was reallocated in the S&L to a business development team I put together. And I did that for about 5 years.
Wow.
And then I left the S&L and went to work for a large mortgage broker that was based in the Northeast, actually, Shawmut Mortgage. That later was absorbed by a couple other and then bought by National City Bank at that time.
Oh, wow.
Got it.
Yeah, there's a name I haven't heard in a while, Nat City.
I know, right? Oh my. Yeah, they were an interesting, a wonderfully run bank. And then they got a little greedy and they were in the subprime market, sold that off, but held a piece of it. And that's what took National City down.
I didn't realize that was what the case was.
Yeah.
That's something else.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So what was it like moving around the proverbial closing table? I always joke when I'd go to the closing table after all the buildings that I bought. And most people at the closing table seem to want to sit in somebody else's seat at the table. So you go to the proverbial, and the appraiser never's at the closing table, but
right.
They should be, because that's where all the big checks get doled out. But anyway, so you move from the broker seat over to the appraiser seat. What was that like?
It was easy because I understood the other side.
Yeah.
And I understood the other side in banking. So I got both sides of that.
I got it.
And I always found starting, running, and growing an appraisal business to be extremely easy.
That's
and speak a lot to appraisers in groups and forums about customer service and not being such a hermit under a rock.
Got it.
Get out and let the sun hit you.
I love it, man. Get out and let the sun hit you. That is a
Yeah.
great way to go.
Yeah.
That is absolutely a great way to go. From that standpoint, because you went to work at an SNL, many people have no idea what that is or what that was. One, what was it? And then two, more importantly, what was it like being new and being there for your training as opposed to going to work for a guy named Frank?
Yeah, it gave me a real understanding of community lending, how the financial piece infrastructure of a community was critical.
Yes.
It afforded me the opportunity to quickly sit on different boards, community boards, development boards, the Chamber of Commerce's, and really provided multiple opportunities that I would not have gotten at a bank or brokerage firm.
And how big was the department when you joined it?
We had a staff of 12 appraisers, and we only lent in a 4-county area.
That's a tight area.
It was a tight area. And most SNLs did lend in a very tight area. Not until the late 90s and 2000, early 2000s did they go into different cities. So they would have a seat city, Dayton, Ohio, in the case I was in, or Columbus or Cincinnati, Cleveland, you have more well-known names. And then they started venturing into new cities, and this went from a 3 to 4 county footprint to a 8 to 12 county footprint. And typically would section a state off, where they would be in southwestern Ohio or central Ohio or northeastern Ohio. No one ever went to southeastern Ohio. That was just deathland.
Gosh, that is too
funny. If you had 6 sales in a county, you were lucky.
Oh my gosh, that's a different world. That is a different world. So did they just basically bring you in and said, here's your clipboard and tape measure and a sharpened pencil and get to it? Or how did that go back in those days?
Back in the day, the SNLs are the ones that really created the Society of Real Estate Appraisers, because they wanted their appraisers to start getting formal education, to collaborate, to talk. And they were the founders of the Society of Real Estate Appraisers. That is now part of the Appraisal Institute. And so it was a great collaboration, because we would have chapter meetings, and then those chapter meetings, and typically they were in a city. So in Ohio, for instance, we had Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, Cleveland, and Toledo that covered the state. And so you would have maybe 25 to 50 appraisers show up once a month, have dinner together, have a speaker, talk, have a couple cocktails. And it was just a wonderful opportunity to talk about sales, what was going on in the market, what we were seeing from our business we were doing, all of us. And it was an amazing network, and we could call upon each other. It worked really efficiently.
That is such an amazing experience to get exposure like that and to get started in such a local but powerful community. I mean, that's really encouraging to hear. Holy cow.
And today in 2025, we talk about community in the appraisal community. We lack that. We, as evident by these state coalitions that have gotten together over the last 14, 15 years, trying to get that back. And that's been extremely difficult. They're nonprofits typically, except the one up in Chicago. The Illinois Appraisal ICAP.
Illinois Coalition of Appraisal Professionals.
Yeah, and the Appraisal Institute, the American Institute, before that, and the society would have local chapter meetings. And as they consolidated, they started trying to fuse those chapter meetings together. Let's do it more efficiently. And so instead of 5 or 6 chapters in Ohio, it went down to 3, and then it went down to 2. And now Ohio just has 1. And that's the Ohio chapter. And I think most other states have followed that footprint. And our management, our direction, our leadership, and for instance, our executive, who's an employee, she covers now 4 states, not 1. So everything is condensed, consolidated, and compressed.
Wow. That's something else.
And when you do that, you lose the local network, you lose the regional network, you lose the state network. And it's a problem we have in this industry. And it shows because appraisers without that are lone wolves. They function on their own. Typically, they're insecure because they think their fellow associate that they don't work with is going to take business from them. So they don't collaborate. They don't talk about things. And it was probably the major reason that AMCs emerged and then took control of the appraiser's business. They were too scattered. There wasn't a common voice.
Interesting. We're scattered. Huh.
Yeah.
That's
What
amazing.
we have today is that there's big appraisal firms. They're called appraisal management companies. And they have very small staffs and very large independent contractors.
Yeah, I got it. Interesting. And that makes sense. When there's a gap, if there's one thing we've learned, much like water, it won't be for very long before that gets filled in.
Yes, quickly.
Sometimes quickly, sometimes not.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it doesn't tend to stay a gaping hole or gaping opportunity for very long before somebody or something steps in and fills it.
And the way AMC's got started was it was in the title business. Big title companies like First Chicago,
Yep.
First American, TransUnion said, wait a minute, we can make more money. We'll package it with our title services
Yes.
and we'll start managing appraisers. And then things went smoother for the lender because you had someone that was doing title and appraisal and they were able to consolidate the service.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So for you getting to get this training, I assume, were you the only young person that joined around that time?
Yeah, I was the youngest by at least 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was either your older brother or your dad's you were working with, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or my crazy uncle.
Oh, my crazy uncle. So I imagine they showed up and said, "Here, son, you can carry my briefcase," kind of thing.
Yeah, and here, son, you can go in this zip code because we're not going in it. Yeah, I did a lot of early morning views.
I understand that one. Sounds a lot like the guy I used to work with when I came in a long time ago.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations. Got some assignments today. And I'm like, okay. And the thing was, I wasn't from that part of the country. So I was like, I didn't honestly really care.
Yeah, we would travel around with volumes of MLS quarterly sales comparables.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the book.
And black and white Polaroid cameras and a big trash bag sitting in the front seat to throw in all the negatives and that sort of thing.
Oh, my goodness. So you mentioned, so you were with them and then you said there was a reallocation and you went into business development.
Yeah, most of the appraisers, the staff went from 12 appraisers down to one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the rest of the 17 got typically thrown out into the branches and were tellers or loan officers.
Oh, fascinating.
And I think because of my age and I was a little aggressive, I got thrown into a management role and then to create a new division that ended up, I think we had 19 people in it. We outproduced 63 branches in new business.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. We had a great team. And I've always been about training and expanding people's minds and not just for instance, we're talking about appraisal today, not on adjustments and that sort of thing, but how do you do business? How do markets work? Not just real estate markets, but all markets. How does interest rate policy and government policy and budget and deficits, how does that affect? How does trade affect? How do we look on trade? Those types of things.
Oh my goodness. Phenomenal. So did you take to this opportunity like a fish to water, or were you more a bit of a snail going over vinegar?
Oh my God. I was like a quick moving eel.
That's an image.
Yeah. And I ruffled feathers and I just created a whole different box we were the group that woke everyone up. And there was a lot of envy too. You got corporate politics, obviously, but yeah, it worked amazing. And I went from that to working for Shalmet, and then first started in originations, and then buying commitments and filling those commitments and delivering loans and holding loans in the pipeline until rates swung a different way. And it was a great rodeo.
What an amazing experience.
Yeah.
What an amazing experience. And then You got to move, as they would say, up the lending food chain from a savings and loan over to a mortgage broker, then ultimately getting acquired by, at that time was a well-respected regional bank.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting perspective that a number of people in and around the industry, and definitely a number of our peers over the years, have definitely gone on the similar journey. But maybe it didn't start where you started as coming out of retirement to get into the appraisal profession, which is just so noble. But at that time and moving through that, what were the differences in the lending and experiences going from the savings and loan over to the large mortgage broker to then through that acquisition and ultimately to National City? Because a lot of different levels of regulation as you move through those.
Absolutely. Yeah. And once I moved out of the S&L, savings and loan, the local lender, if you would, everything started becoming standardized. And you had to hit the standard. If you didn't, back in those days, you bought the loan back right away.
Yep.
If you sold something to Fannie or Freddie and it didn't match the compliance requirements, you were buying it back 30 days later.
Totally.
And then you had to find a place to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. A good old buyback request.
For the local lending, they were aware of the standards. They didn't underwrite to those standards because they shelved them. And that's what happened with the S&Ls. That's why they went under. They were making fixed rate 30-year mortgages at 4 and 5%. And then all of a sudden money market accounts came on from brokerage firms and people wanted 8, 9, 10, 15%.
Yep.
And the S&Ls followed them like ducks getting slaughtered.
Yep.
Because their revenue didn't stay up with their expense.
Totally makes sense.
They were upside down.
Yeah, absolutely case.
Yeah.
Wow. Phenomenal. So how long did you make it with Nat City?
Gosh, interesting story there. I was with Nat City for 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I got ready to retire again at 29. I thought, well, maybe that's too young to retire. And I looked back on my career and thought, what did I enjoy most? And I enjoyed real estate appraisal.
Oh, really? Fascinating. And what role had you gotten into? For those that don't know, Nat City was a well-regarded regional lender. I don't know, were you overseeing lending or were you director of quality or were you over on credit policy?
I was in the pricing side and the sales side of selling blocks of mortgages.
Oh, yeah. Very different world.
Yeah.
Very different world there.
Yeah.
Holy smoke. So here you go. You retire at 29 and now you get another opportunity to figure out what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Young. All my friends are still working.
I know, right? So I started a real estate appraisal firm of one, me.
Oh, real? Okay. Oh, so yeah, it threw up the single shingle opportunity is what you tell us.
Single shingle, baby. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
that's dot matrix printers and desktop computers that took the whole desk, all that fun stuff. It started with that and then grew that. And gosh, it was about 8 years to having 5 offices and in 3 different states and tri-state area of Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. And we were, I forget the publication that would track that, but we were in the top 10 of privately owned appraisal firms in the United States.
Wow, there used to be a publication that actually tracked that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, fascinating.
Yeah.
Learn something new all the time. This is quite amazing. Quite amazing. That's
it came out of the insurance industry that was insuring loans and an E&O insurance and all that sort of thing. So they would track and the GSEs provided information on volume by firm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fascinating way to go about it. Given that you had started out and come through the industry the way you did, you were on your own, and then you actually mentioned about growing to 5 offices. That's something that almost nobody does in this industry. It's one of those, in a field full of clover, there's very few with 4 leaves. Yeah. So talk about that process from going from you, maybe adding team members, some staff, secretary, what have you, to actually going from by yourself to an office to multiple offices in multiple states.
It was really easy because other than the first year when I started as a single shingle, we never made a sales call after that.
Really?
Yeah, our reputation amongst lenders, amongst loan officers, amongst underwriter groups and sales groups where they were selling the mortgages and purchasing money in the pipeline, that we gave them a no speed bump process because we understood what they needed. We communicated always, we listened, and we provided it. And so we had people calling us up. There were times where we wouldn't take on new clients because we couldn't grow quick enough.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Love that. Congratulations. It's
Thank
wonderful to be in that space. And was it the colorful clothes you wore, or what was it about you that they're like, we've got to be with Ron?
Listening and then delivering. And
What
and
are
also,
those things, Ron?
yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And then saying to them, because we became specialists in valuation, we
Yes.
became specialists in regulatory requirements when it came to real estate value and appraisal reports. And so when they were misreading what they were to comply with, we let them know that. And we had earned the credibility, they listened.
Got it. Got it. I totally appreciate that. That is amazing. And then what was it that you found about the clients you worked with that worked well with you? Because I think that's a big learning experience. And that's something, because I've had a chance, we chat a little bit, you have an understanding of this that a lot of people may ultimately get to, but many people don't think about it. And it really influences the quality and speed of growth.
80% of all businesses fail within 5 years, according to the US Census Bureau. With so many roles and responsibilities that must be managed and have nothing to do with appraisal reports, is it any surprise that it's hard to keep up, much less having a sense of peace, stability, and profitability that comes from growing your business? Given all of this, you might already be thinking about exiting your business one day. Don't miss the limited opportunity to work with Michael, a real estate expert and professional coach. He has worked with more than 300 owners and entrepreneurs to find their highest and best use by solving problems that reach their most important goals. Compress decades of learning into days by working with Michael. Michael is famous in real estate and business coaching. With his help, you can accelerate your growth, increase your quality of life, and earn more money, all while ultimately doing less. Michael helps you not just grow your business, but also find new purpose in it and in your life. If you're ready to take control instead of being controlled, contact him on LinkedIn or email him at michaelh@paru.com.
That's really a great point, Michael. After our first 10 years in business, I made a shift away from banks and away from mortgage brokers and went to credit unions because I saw that environment to be a collaborative environment, a simple, straightforward environment, front-facing directly with the customer and open to learning and to growing. Whereas banks, brokers, that system was set. That concentration also as a business owner, I didn't want to have the risk of 25%, 30% of my work sitting with a large bank.
I understand.
Because as the politics would move, and I was never out into going out and having a 3-cocktail lunch or taking clients out to dinner or giving away tickets. We didn't do that game. We just delivered.
Love that.
And they could take the money they were earning and more of it and go to their own ball game, have their own cocktails with people they wanted to, not us.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Fantastic. So did you then follow your clients into the other states? Is that what got you?
Yeah, another client or prospects from other states called us up and said, would you come into Tennessee? Would you come into Michigan? Would you come into Illinois? And we just kept growing from the Midwest.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Good for you. So you said you grew to 5 offices. What stopped you from growing further?
We actually, then it became, because of technology at that time, extremely cumbersome. No internet. The appraisal reports were being printed on paper and delivered in paper, and they were either delivered by a courier or the U.S. Postal Service. And so to scale that, the mechanisms weren't in shape and in place. They were just developing at that time.
Sure. Yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. So how long were you in that space of going from a single shingle to growing to 5 offices and being in 3 states? How many years or decades was that?
Oh, goodness. That would have been, let's see, 12, probably 23 years, 22, 23 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then how much did the industry change from when you went out on your own and decided to start this and then started to build up because you, like you said, you listened and you delivered.
Yeah.
And therefore clients wanted to continue to work with you. You build a team, have other people working with you. Nearly 2.5 decades, significant change in those 2.5 decades.
Oh, a lot of change, a lot of change, a lot of shifting. And fortunately, we had the luxury of being on the front end of that. We were a participant, we were at the table with those changes. And we were able to advise state and federal regulators on pluses and minuses that were in the appraisal report, what was lacking, what was overkill and unnecessary. And so we were involved in the evolution of the URAR. Matter of fact, when it first came out, it was green and white paper, and it was called the Green Hornet.
The Green Hornet. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For those of us who've been around a little while, you do know the reference. The rest of you, just picture a Green Hornet. That's good.
Yeah, it's the TV show. Yeah, back in the day.
Oh, my goodness. That is absolutely fantastic. Wow. So you got to be on the front end of that. And that's so given that you've been at the practitioner level, obviously you've been at the owner level, you've been overseeing growth in a number of different areas in and around the real estate industries. How did you focus on who you employed because of the work that you all did?
We were looking for people that wanted to grow, people that could communicate, and that people that were able to learn quickly and then deliver. And so you didn't have to have a real estate background. You didn't even know, you have to know how to spell the word appraisal. We look for those attributes in people.
Oh, I love that.
And we hired our fair share, probably half of the people that worked for us over that time already were appraisers, and they were frustrated, and their income had capped out. They weren't seeing their income go up annually. They were seeing it frozen and their expenses going up. And so by accumulating that together as a group, we were able to lower those costs. We were able to provide that education. We were able to provide that support. Our appraisers never had to pull a map, never had to check a flood zone.
Really?
All that was provided in file when they got the assignment.
That's a valuable way to really create some workflow in there.
Yeah. They were able to at least double their production and work no more hours. Yeah. Yeah. Appointments were scheduled, follow-up was done for them, all that.
I was having a similar conversation with a recent guest. A lot of people have already very positively commented on, both from a standpoint of interest and a bit of, I won't say shock, but they're kind of like, that opened up a different perspective.
Yeah.
And he was speaking to the power of working not as a solo professional, but in a team environment where, much like any team sport, people have different roles and responsibilities, and the team can produce results that a single individual can't. And it's not a one-to-one relationship either. It's not like we had one more person and we'd like double. It was geometric in results.
Yes.
That James was talking about, which was for some people in the industry, that of course I work in that environment. I sit in the bigger commercial firm and I know that, but for a lot of people, they have no idea what the
residential space. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And it's interesting that we've come full circle now. And again, even in the commercial space, the highest percentage are sole practitioners. And we're back to that lack of collaboration. We're back to the lack of sharing information, of growing together, of saying what if, or what about this trend, or maybe this might be happening, or this is a better way to do it. We've lost that. And the appraisal profession, appraisers, are back into a closet by themselves again.
Holy
cow. Clients are now telling them what they have to do and how they have to do it.
That I can remember back, you mentioned Nat City. I remember back in the day, we were working with, I think it was Fifth Third. I remember the gentleman who I'd met, and we had a good relationship there. And one day I got a phone call and they said that a guy named Ron, it wasn't Ron, but it could have been a guy named Ron, calls up and basically says, "Hey, I just want to introduce myself. I'm the new relationship manager here on behalf of the bank, or the banking relationship." And I'm like, the bank? I'm like, no, we have a good relationship with Brian. We have a very good relationship. No, I just want to let you know, like, I'm here to help. And what it come to find out is that the bank had moved towards an AMC model, which like, okay. And then we got to experience firsthand that movement from a direct relationship, like you said, working with people in that sense of, hey, let's work together and get things done, serve the client, to now we got moved to vendor status and we drifted into the territory you sought to avoid.
Yes.
And it worked well for about, I don't know if it was, we made it, 18 months or so. And then the full scale of that AMC kicked in and we lost 30% of our business in a matter of 90 days.
You got it. Yeah. And we stayed away from that. We made the shift before that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're a smart man.
No, lucky. I guessed right.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, that is something else.
Yeah, you mentioned Fifth Third. And they're based out of Cincinnati still.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. And I remember for, probably longer than that, probably 7 or 8 years, once a quarter, I would meet with their president and my partner down at the Bankers Club in Cincinnati, up in their tower, and we'd have lunch and talk about real estate lending and real estate values. And they wanted to stay connected to who was providing a cornerstone of their banking practice and their growth. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I did appreciate their bases, their roots.
Yes.
They were a commercial lending bank. And I had invested in a lot of properties and had a number of completely separate from the real estate appraisal work we did, had commercial loans and stuff with them, but they had good bankers back in the day. And then so many things, there was an acquisition and the good people left.
Yes.
How that goes.
Yep.
Man, what an amazing experience. So what's it like to manage offices in multiple states?
Oh, wow. Really pretty simple. It's just repeating the model you had and listening more to a broader audience, both of providers, appraisers, and users, lenders. And that audience was different by regions. And if you didn't adapt to that region, then you weren't going to be successful.
And what were the guiding principles, metrics? You can have great people and all, but it still takes managing multiple locations. The internet wasn't prevalent. You didn't have the access to the information that exists now.
Yeah. I was a firm believer in distributing power. And so I would have maybe 8 people, 9 people that really ran the operation, and I worked with them. And I didn't have to be the top dog. I didn't want to be the top dog. We didn't want to have a top dog because, again, that was a single fail point.
That's a good approach. It's a good approach.
Yeah. And people that really excelled became partners, became owners of the firm.
That's helpful. How does that work? Or how did that work?
They not only did they get their management salary and any appraisal additional income, they also had profit coming out of the company. And we were very profitable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we would operate at about a 22 to 28% spread, depending on the year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And our appraisers were the highest paid in any region we did work in.
As you said, you took a workflow approach to help them do what they were best at and allow other people to do things that maybe on a value per hour could be done at a lower rate.
Yeah, a lot cheaper.
I always pay attention. I remember where was I? I was in, dang, Ron, doesn't matter where I was. Anyway, I was listening to Vern Harnish, who wrote Mastering the Rockefeller Habits and then wrote the book Scaling Up.
Oh,
and he was talking about a particular dentist, and I didn't think much of it. And it was fascinating as he talked about this particular dentist, because the dentist, and Vern was his business coach at the time, and Vern was talking about how he made the dentist actually identify all the things that happened in his office, and then he had to put a little check in the box of which ones he was doing. And one of them was bookkeeping and accounting. Because he actually he had an accounting background, so he actually liked doing bookkeeping and accounting, and so he has I don't know how many there different roles and responsibilities in the dental office there were. Let's say there were 12, from like brand new client to getting paid by the insurance, like the full scale. And the dentist has his name checked off in 3 or 4 of the boxes, and then he had him estimate what the value of each of the 12 steps was. And no surprise, like all the value is in the signing off on the assessment, the dental assessment, whether there's additional work done or not. And then Vern goes through and says, hey, I have no problem. He said, I have no problem if you want to continue to do like the bookkeeping, accounting stuff, and you like to do some of that client stuff. He said, that's absolutely great. He said, now we need to put a dollar amount against each of the tasks.
Yeah.
Like how much does, like we go into the marketplace and we hire someone to do this. What is this going to cost on an hourly basis? And I don't remember exactly how the numbers broke out, but it was something like, I don't know if it was $200 an hour or something at the time for like doing like what only a DDS can do. That's the dentist. And the accounting stuff was like $20 an hour or $25 an hour. And he's like, great, for every hour, you just keep track. I need a timesheet from you. Again, he's the coach to the dentist client. I need a timesheet from you and just show me your hours. And we're going to pay you based on the hours that you work. We're not going to pay you dentist rates for all the hours you work. We're going to pay you for the role that you did.
There you go.
It only took the guy like 2 months. He's, I don't think I need to do accounting. And I love my patients and all, but I don't need to be entering the information in the system. I was like,
Yep.
whoa, well, it's such an eye-opener when Vern told that story.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we did, Michael, on the appraisal side.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is something else, Ron. That is something else. Holy cow. So 23 years and 5 offices. So what, I take it at that point, did you just give it all to your team or did you sell it?
Yeah,
or?
it's interesting. Back in 2010,
Yeah.
obviously the shift was going on to AMCs,
Yes, sir.
and there were a lot of confusion and misinformation out there.
Yep.
And HVC came out, HVCC, and what was the final version of HVCC was not the version that was supposed to roll out, but the settlement service companies, those large like First America, First Chicago, put in a paragraph that said, in essence, to be safe, you should use a specialized management company to manage your appraisals. And that just opened Pandora's box. And there was a large sucking sound that happened. And all of a sudden, appraisers lost their relationships. They lost their connection with the people using their work. And I saw that shift happening. And we had a very large credit union in Dayton, Ohio, that actually had created a credit union service organization to take and underwrite, process, close, and fund a bunch of small credit unions throughout a 6-state area. And they came to us and said, would you take and manage this footprint for us of all these other credit unions out there? And so in 2012, we created True Union, which was a specialized credit union appraisal management company.
Really? Fascinating.
Yeah.
So you create a specialized appraisal management company for the very types of firms you'd been serving as an appraiser.
Yeah. Yeah, for 20 years. And what we did was, which was very cool, we took the appraisal firm and we gave it to our appraisers and our support staff. And
Did you really?
Yeah, it's yours. It's free. And
Is it ESOP or you just, or how did?
no, we had attorneys put it together. They became owners. They had their own board. There was a CEO appointed and chief of operations. And that firm ran for about 12 years. And
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah, they broke apart finally because of age and again the control of AMCs that now control workflow.
Yep.
And they did an amazing job because we were able to start with a base platform of the people we knew.
Oh,
Because
that's nice.
We trained them. We knew what the quality would be. We knew what the communication would be. And that afforded us an opportunity then to onboard other appraisers in a very quick way and bring them up to that same level.
That's amazing. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Wow. So you get to start with the people that you already were connected with, had alignment with.
Yeah.
And wow. And how did that go?
Excellent. It freed us up to go in, and those new appraisers that were joining and getting appraisal work from us, right away we were in training with them. And we went to them, and we went to a region and would train 50, 60 appraisers at one time.
Yes.
On how we did business. And most importantly, what happens to that appraisal after they're done with it? what is the channel it goes through? And why is that appraisal so important? How that appraisal can stop everything
Yes.
or let it flow. Not all deals should flow, obviously.
Yes.
But that really opened up the channel. And there was a standardization that happened, not because of a list of things you need to do, but because of an education and understanding and a work ethic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. That's amazing. That is amazing. How did that experience go?
Oh, it went great. It went great.
Tell us about it.
We ran that for 12 years.
12 years. Wow.
Yeah. And in 2023, when I had just relocated to Connecticut
Okay.
from Ohio,
Okay.
and I came to Connecticut to visit a friend I became friends with in Philadelphia, business wise. And I fell in love with it. So I thought I'd hang around. And that was 4 years ago. And I'm still here. I was sitting and having coffee at a local little coffee shop in this little town of New Canaan I live in.
Yes.
And this town is known for their Wall Street people that live here. They
Okay.
they jump on a train and head into Manhattan to work.
Oh,
and
yeah.
back
Sounds
at
like
night.
Westchester to me.
Yeah, there you go. And I was having coffee, and this principal, an owner of a private equity firm, said, "Have you ever thought about selling your company?" And I said, "Oh, we're too small." And the reply was, "Oh, no, you're not." And we bought Class Valuation 2 years ago.
Oh.
I want to buy you.
Oh,
And
my gosh.
I'm not kidding you. 90 days later, we were closing.
That just doesn't happen, Ron.
I
mean,
know.
come on.
You can't make it up. You cannot make it up.
That's amazing.
And now, of course, we had a great company, great people. That's what made this company great. I had the easiest job.
Yeah.
And I got to work with fabulous people. And I got to watch them grow. And that was exciting. That was fun.
That's amazing.
So that organization still exists today.
Yeah.
True Union does, under class and class valuation. And it has its own silo specifically for credit unions. It has its own group. It has its own appraisers. It does its own thing. And it is the fastest growing channel of business that class valuation has.
Makes sense. Underserved market area.
Bingo.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
get out in the field and harvest.
That is something else. So for people, like most people in the profession are clearly not cut from the same cloth as you. They didn't get kicked over into business development 5 years in and then come through all that exposure that you got through lending and then go out and not only start on your own, because a lot of people will exist on their own for a period of time or serves them, their family, flexibility, whatever it might be, and then grow like you did, and then not only move on, you basically retired from that. Once again, you retire, and now you're like, I can't stay retired for too long. I like these people. I'm going to start something new, which you did. Yeah. And here you go and grow again, and then someone retires you because they're like, well, you're going to pay me that much money. I like working and all, but if you want to pay me, I guess I could go do something else.
Yeah. And that brings me to today. Just ready to flip over 68 years old. And after 3 years because my partner remained CEO of that silo in class.
Oh, okay.
For 2 years of transition, I've just been bored to death. And so she and I are rolling out next month a consulting firm specifically to the credit union industry, and not on a micro level like we've done before, transactional based, whether it was the appraisal firm or appraisal management company, but the macro, taking the altitude up to 30,000 feet and saying, okay, we're looking over the landscape here, and let us tell you what that means potentially for you.
Yeah.
And then providing alternatives of roadmaps on how to navigate through that and to flourish from it.
That's phenomenal. Holy smokes. Goodness, Ron, you definitely, everybody, we have a first time or some first time experience in every single podcast. You definitely win for the most number of retirements in one company. I'm like, I'm impressed.
I think this will be my last, Michael.
All right, that's okay, Ron. Don't say that. You probably might have said that at 19 or whatever it was after that first one. That's my goodness, Ron.
It's been a great ride. I'm very thankful for the experience I've had. Extremely grateful with the people I've worked with, appraisers, lenders, regulators, state organizations, federal organizations. It's been a wonderful ride.
Oh, I'm thrilled to hear that's your perspective. And I'm honored that almost everyone who's accepted our invitation to be a guest here has that similar approach. Not everyone in the profession does, but then again, we intentionally search for people that have been around the industry for some amount of time or had some amount of impact and influence, maybe even some inspiration, because I do think this is a profession, while changing dramatically, has a very interesting future. For you, as you look out over the next 3 to 5 years, what are you most excited about or looking forward to?
No, I'm really excited about the different appraisal reporting levels, the different valuation opportunities appraisers have, lenders have, to bring high quality loans secured by real estate to the market. And it's not one price fits all. It depends on risk. It depends upon the product they're coming in for and what the collateral is needed for. And I think it's an exciting time. It's an amazing time. It's another reason to come out of retirement again.
We're going to going for a baker's dozen. You keep going like this, Ron. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you.
No, I appreciate it. Ron, I really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
It has been a pleasure, Michael. You're a good breath of fresh air.
I'm very kind to receive. I just feel humbled to receive your acknowledgement. That's a labor of love for me. It's what I wish existed when I came into the profession a while back. Instead, it was closed-minded, and it was a bit probably like some of those banker business clubs you went to. It was pretty much closed door.
Yeah, it really is. And it's become that way again to us appraisers out there. And we're the ones that can change it.
Yes.
And it's more than just doing an assignment. It's investing in your career. It's investing in your business. It's the only way to not see your revenue freeze and your expenses go up.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. It's absolutely a great way to put it. Ron, definitely appreciate you joining us. It's a pleasure that we get to be along for a little glimpse into history and a glimpse into the future. And always wonderful that people are so connected and really touched that they then jump in and immediately subscribe. Oh my goodness, this is so good. I need to get more of this Pavrusings, Appraisers on Purpose podcast. And then for those that actually not only listen to these, but then follow up because of the newsletter, we have our bonus Pavrusings Appraisers on Purpose.
Nice.
And the bonus session is so much fun, and we're going to go all kinds of interesting topics, and we'll definitely get a chance to hear more about what's next for you. But man, we just really appreciate you being part of this.
Thank you, Michael. It is truly a pleasure, and I'm glad that you and I now know each other.
No, I appreciate it. Friends, thanks so much. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Pavrusings, Appraisers on Purpose. We hope you enjoyed learning from the amazing professional paths and achievements of our beloved guests. Before we go, please subscribe on your listening channel, Spotify, LinkedIn, YouTube, and other podcast channels to hear more from appraisers and valuers regarding their life and their work. After you drop a comment below, who is one friend and peer you can generously share this episode with? If you have any suggestions or questions for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. Just send us a message on LinkedIn and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks again for listening, and until we're together again for the next session of Pavrusings, Appraisers on Purpose, create the change that you seek.